everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Manchester United leave it late again to beat Rangers 2-1 in the Europa League at Old Trafford. A much-needed victory for Manchester United, which puts them in control of their Europa League destiny and puts them in contention to, well, basically makes them qualify automatically. But guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. You know how it goes, guys. Just do it again. Just do it. But Manchester United leave it late again. And you have to say, on the balance of the 90 minutes that we watched, I don't know if you watched, but I watched, Manchester United were totally dominant in the game. And they deserve more goals. They should have had more goals. They put the ball in the net a couple of times and only scored 2. And one was very, very late. But on the whole basis of the entire game, you expected a Manchester United victory. They're playing a team that are struggling in the Scottish League. How many points they're behind Rangers, but it's quite a few. They're second behind Celtic, not Rangers. Behind Celtic, Rangers. They're quite far ahead. They've not been great in the Scottish division this season. And Manchester United have not been great in the Premier League. But you look at the quality that Manchester United have on display in their 11, Xerxes, Garnacho, Ahmad, just to name a few, is better than what Rangers have. And that was, again, identified today. And maybe not so much that we thought maybe United would get a couple more goals in the game. But if we look at Rangers are coming to Old Trafford with basically nothing to lose. Even they are trying to qualify automatically. And I think they'll end up making it. But it's a real dagger, that, from United to Rangers. And I thought they gave it all Rangers today. But ultimately, the quality of Manchester United always will come through, because quality players will deliver you big moments. And that guy behind me, Bruno Fernandes, is one of those quality players in the Premier League and in Europe that can, provide a moment of absolute magic out of nothing. And this is what the great players do when they're not playing well, when they're not playing at their best, because I don't think he was particularly as great as today. Bruno Fernandes had a few pop shots and maybe should have had a goal or two, but I don't think his performance all round was very, very good. But these are what the great players tend to do. They tend to deliver in moments of desperation for your team. They tend to deliver in big moments for your team. And he has delivered another one, Bruno Fernandes. And I know he divides a lot of opinion, not only amongst United fans, but amongst football fans, whether he's captain material or not. But I think he knows what it means to play for Manchester United. He always gives his all, and he is the captain. And I think he leads that team quite well. And look, for Manchester United, we all know the problems that they have, and some of them are on display today. Even a quite dominant performance, it was only a 2-1, and Rangers equalised very, very late with a Harry Maguire mistake. And you thought, oh, it's going to be another one of those games for United where Ahmad's hitting over the bar, Garnacho's hitting over the bar, De Ligt's getting a goal ruled out, it's an offside, and things like that. And Rangers were just buying their moment, and they got the opportunity. It was a really good touch from the Rangers forward. I don't actually know his name, the lad from Rangers, What's his name? I actually don't even know his name, but he was absolutely causing problems. That's his name, Cyril Dezers. That's his name, Dezers. That's it. But he was marvelous, and I thought his hold-up play was really, really good. And Harry Maguire, obviously coming on, he thought he's a bit more physical. Maybe he was going to be able to deal with him, but Harry Maguire comes on and makes a mistake, and Cyril Dezers capitalizes on it. And apologies for not knowing his name, but I don't really watch the Scottish League, to be honest, and I don't really keep up with the Scottish Premiership, bar Celtic and Rangers when they play each other, to be honest. But you look at Manchester United and you look at their excellence. You look at, maybe excellence is a bit of a stretch, but you look at how dominant they were in the game. This was arguably a result that was inevitably going to happen because of like I said, the quality they have on the pitch. And like I said, Bruno Fernandes is the one that provided it. But spare a thought for Rangers. Gave it their all, and ultimately were undone by quality in the end. And that's the levels you can see. And everybody says and makes these arguments, how would Rangers do in the Premier League? How would Celtic do in the Premier League? They were absolutely battered today, Rangers. Absolutely battered. Anytime I've seen them play an English opponent, they've disappointed me, to be honest. I saw them play against my club, Liverpool. Absolutely battered. 7-1 at Ibrox and then 2-0 at Anfield. Celtic, yeah, you could say, oh, they've beaten Barcelona 15 years ago, but it's not really relevant now. they had a win yesterday against Young Boys, and they are going to be in the playoffs for the Champions League. But the general quality, when people make the argument of how the two best teams in Scotland will do in the Premier League, I think it's a kind of flawed argument. I think today demonstrated that Man United very rarely dominate games this season. They very rarely dominate teams, especially at home. They've been quite poor at home this season. They're losing to the likes of Bournemouth, Newcastle, Liverpool, to name a few. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more. And then Nottingham Forest is another one. No, they didn't beat Chelsea. So there's quite a few games where Man United have been quite poor at home, and they haven't dominated those games, and they were able to basically dominate Rangers from minute 1 and minute to minute 90. So it shows the quality that the Premier League has, but it also shows the how woeful Man United are in terms of the game management. They bring on Harry Maguire to manage the game at 1-0, and they end up conceding a goal and winning 2-1, and that's just how Man United have been. It's very, very good. It's a very, very good overall performance, but then you have lapses of concentration, which makes the performance quite poor, because of these little things that they need to tweak, and that's what's costed them, because against a better team, they're not going to be able to play like that. And it's been proven. The teams that they've beaten in the Premier League are not great sides. Maybe they got a draw at Anfield, beat Man City, are not great, but Man United tend to play better when they're playing against the better opponents. But they haven't beaten, for me, anyone of real merit. Bournemouth battered them, Newcastle battered them, Liverpool battered them, Man City will batter them. So Arsenal battered them in the league game. Oh yeah, Man United beat them in the FA Cup, but again, Arsenal, I think, were in control, and United played on the counter-attack. And I think you look at United as a whole, are they progressing under Ruben Amorim? You can make the case yes, because they're starting to be a bit more consistent, but then you can make the case of no, that they have these little lapses in concentration where they can drop a point, they can drop points there, and you think, oh, this is going to be the turn, this is going to be the turn, this is going to be the turn, but it just isn't. And obviously they lost to Brighton on the weekend, and I did a video on that, how I thought before how United were in progression since especially the Newcastle game, but they've fallen down again, and they've picked up again with a win against Rangers. But was it really good enough? I think you lot can decide that, but because you should be dominating Rangers. I'm not disrespecting them at all. You should be dominating Rangers. You look at the revenue in the Scottish League, you look at the revenue in the Premier League, you look at the players Man United have, and you look at the players Rangers have. Rangers' the starting keeper was Man United's arguably third choice, second choice keeper when he was at the club, Jack Butland, a couple of years ago. And now he's the number one at Rangers. And that should alone show you how drastic the league differences between the Premier League and the Scottish League. And like I said, the Scottish League has its qualities. Celtic are doing well in the Champions League. Rangers are doing okay in the Europa League. But when they come up against decent opponents, I'm not saying United are decent, but I'm saying, decent players, they will struggle. And we saw the dominance of Man United today. And by with no stretch of the imagination, do I think this performance reflects the progression under Ruben Amorim? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is not a fair reflection. I want to see how Man United play against, Manchester City, against a Liverpool on a more consistent basis, against an Arsenal, against a Brighton, against a Bournemouth, teams that are quite dominant in the league, and better teams in the Premier League, because you can make the case for Man United dominating City in the second half at the Etihad. They did, but generally speaking, they've had a really, really bad season, and they've been battered by 70% of this Premier League. But again, it's a win. United are closing in on automatic promotion, or to get to the round of 32, whatever it is. I don't know how the Europa League format works, but they will qualify automatically. United, they won't need to play a playoff, and I think that's one less game for Ruben Amorim to worry about. And I think overall, I think they can be satisfied that they eventually got the rewards for what was quite a good performance. You have to put it that way, bar the lapse in concentration, which kind of hinders it a bit. But generally speaking, Man United were dominant, and they got what they deserve. A 2-1 win against Rangers in the Europa League. Some may have expected it. Some rival fans may have not, including myself. I was cheering for Rangers as a Liverpool fan, as you can see. I didn't put my middle finger up, by the way. That was pointing at the two Liverpool shirts before anyone YouTube. Don't ban me. But yeah, it's another win for Man United in the Europa League. It's another step in the right direction for Ruben Amorim, potentially. And are United in their groove? I guess we'll find out very, very soon. I don't think they are, but it's a very winnable competition. I don't look at this league and I think there's an outright favourite. Maybe Athletic Bilbao, maybe Tottenham Hotspur. But if United can put a run together, this Europa League is a very winnable competition, especially the fact that the teams from the Champions League don't go into that tournament anymore. So that's another positive for United. Well, guys, get your comments in below. Man United beat Rangers 2-1 at Old Trafford in the UEFA Europa League. Can they win again? Guess we'll find out on the weekend. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.